Just when you thought Christchurch was about to get the new art gallery we deserve, it appears that funding may have run into a bit of a snag. The government has announced they won't confirm or deny funding for the project till after the election. The $7.8 million which the government has been asked to contribute is regarded as somewhat critical to the project. Gallery Director Tony Preston joins us to discuss what the consequences, if any, of the government's decision may be. Tony, welcome along.
Thank you, Grant. Nice to be here.
What is your reaction to the news? Did this come as a great shock?
No, and in fact it's not formal news. It is just an indication from some key players in Wellington that it's unlikely that there'll be a decision. Not that the decision has been formally put on hold, or indeed that there's any reason to feel pessimistic about it. In fact, I'm as optimistic about the bid through the Ministry of Cultural Affairs and Treasury as I am about the gallery itself. It's a very small ask that we've made when one looks at the support that central government has given to other key projects, and in fact I think we're being very good to Wellington. Wellington, I'm sure, will be very good to us.
So how big is the ask, as you put it, and what's the total cost of the project?
Well, I think probably there's some figures floating around that need clarifying. We have the cost of the building, perhaps if I give it in the dollar values that have been around, the 1996 dollar values, $29.3 million for the building. A separate amount for the car park, which, as you're aware, is actually less now. It'll be one level of underground car parking rather than the two, and within that figure for the building, there has been a decision made that for funds from other than ratepayer council sources, we will go to the broad community. Now, that's not just the Christchurch community, not just Canterbury. It is key Wellington-based funding bodies, central government, Lottery Grants Board, for example. And when one breaks it down, I'm actually delighted to say that we're virtually halfway there already when one looks at total contributions to the project. We're over $5.5 million in contributions from other than those ratepayer-funded sources already, which is a fantastic achievement.
So how much are you actually wanting to hit up central government for?
Well,
what is the sum?
Well, at this stage, in fact, we were already over our budget in terms of other sponsorship, and indeed it'll be slightly less that we'll be seeking from that we need from central government to reach our target, and we're looking at the minute at about 6.4.
Oh, okay. So how does that compare with the sort of money that was spent, for example, on Te Papa?
Well, I mean, Te Papa was wholly and solely funded by central government, Lottery Grants Board, the key Wellington-based institutions. And also, I hasten to add, I mean, we've seen approximately 30% support for the major renovations at the Auckland Museum, a very similar amount. So there seems to be this sort of third as a yardstick for support for the Otago Museum, and similarly so for Dunedin Public Art Gallery. We're actually asking at this particular stage for about 12%. So it's really, it's a small ask.
So
and we've had,
yes,
I must say that we've had also remarkably enthusiastic responses in 3 presentations now that I've been involved with to the Ministry of Cultural Affairs, senior officers, and I hasten to add to Treasury officials as well.
All right, so you're not actually asking for a huge amount of money in relation to the funding for other sort of comparable projects.
I feel very, very positive about it.
There is one issue, though, and that is the current government saying they won't announce a decision until after the election. There is the possibility that the current government won't be the current government after the election. And it's not probably unreasonable to deduce that a Labour alliance government might think that hospital waiting lists were slightly more important than new art galleries. Is there, if there's a change of government at the election, will this put the project in jeopardy?
No, I don't believe so. We've been very even-handed, might I say. We've obviously wanted to keep all key political players well informed, and have had remarkably positive feedback from all of them. This is a courtship which has been going on now for effectively 4 years and 2 months and 14 days. I think I've actually been here. There's a realization that that you do need to keep key decision players well informed and positively informed with reason. The project is the most exciting cultural development in Christchurch now for more than 30 years. The last one really, in terms of a key cultural building, was the Town Hall, designed in the mid to late 60s and finished in the very early 70s. And it will be 30 years by the time this one opens, since we've had such an exciting cultural project, and very, very much, not just for Canterbury, but for the whole country. This is the most significant cultural project, and I think one of the most striking and superbly functioning building, which it'll be as well, since the completion of Te Papa.
It seems as though the process of raising the funds has taken quite a long time. Do people not believe that there's a need for a new art gallery? I mean, is the art gallery just for... is it just an elitist indulgence?
No, Grant, not at all. In fact, I can counter that very cheerfully, because the surveys that Council has had show that, in fact, an AC Nielsen survey, which was hugely heartening after the... I mean, more heartening if we needed to be more heartened, after the announcement of the winning design, showed that 76% of a very, very large sample, 76% not only knew about the new Christchurch Art Gallery project, they knew of its site and they knew of the design, the winning design, and they thought it was good, very good, or excellent. That was hugely heartening, and the Council's own surveys have shown not only satisfaction with the present McDougall, but indeed support for the new gallery project. The community are well aware that we can see less than 10-12% of the permanent collection in the present charming but hopelessly constrained building, and that this new gallery will set Christchurch right back where it needs to be, seriously up front in terms of its cultural aspirations. We have one of the foremost significant collections in the country, and it'll be wonderful to show it so much more comprehensively, and in fact to combine the whole story of New Zealand art, colonial and contemporary, under one roof. As you're aware, at the moment we're unable to do that. The annex, another charming site though it is, just fragments, separates the collections, and that's a great deal less than desirable. We'll have a bistro, we'll have a cafe, we'll have a fabulous sort of auditorium, we'll be able to park. Not as much as I would have liked, but we'll be able to park. It'll be fantastic. It'll be a quantum leap.
Tony Preston, thank you very much.
Pleasure, Grant.
Well, coming up, the newest addition to public transport is getting passengers back on the bus. We'll find out quite why after the break.